Hi and welcome back to HowToAV.tv. We're over at ISE 2019 by the main stage, and we've just been joined by Kevin and Gavin from Kraftwerk, who have come to tell us all about an incredible project that they've been involved with developing, which is 007 Elements, high up in the sky in the Austrian mountains.
Basically, it's a project that was built in the very location that a portion of the Spectre film was shot. Up at the IceQ restaurant, over 3,050 meters above sea level, on the edge of a glacier. So it's quite a challenging location, and it was the first permanent Bond type exhibition of its kind, and built in conjunction with MGM and Eon, and a company called Optimist Inc. from Los Angeles. So we did the technical and AV lighting interface control system work on it, and it basically takes you through what happened. It transpired in the Spectre film in that valley, gives you some exciting points, and then also gives you some insight into how Bond films are made. Some sort of background feel of, what goes down when you fighting villains in mountain layers.
Oh, the story's easy. You spend years developing your clients. You go out there, you business develop, you locate the designers you want to work with. You go and find the end clients. You spend lots of time, effort, wine and dine them. And then a project like this literally comes over the internet with a LinkedIn introduction. It was obvious that Optimist Inc. had been appointed by the end client, the owners of the restaurant and who ran the cable cars in Solden. They were effectively Optimist client for this project, which we didn't know anything about when we were first contacted. And they must have put in the old keywords of museums and audio-visual or integrator or something and came up with me personally. I've been in the museum world for many, many years. I started at Natural History Museum in London, and Kraftwerk is based in Austria. Put the two together, and there we have an integrator with experience at museums. We went through all the usual NDAs, and it was going to be the 007 Museum, and it migrated to its end name, 007 Elements. We did actually meet once in Los Angeles. I went over there to make sure they were real. They were very, very real. They had a great idea. They worked very, very closely with Eon and MGM, and they had a history with them as well. And it was obvious it was a real project, and it turned into a contract fairly simply and fairly straightforwardly after a few months. And I think they were a joy to work with. So I think the main point is, yes, you've got to do all the business development, you have to make all the contacts, but every now and again you get surprised. But of course, the past work that I had done and Kraftwerk has done all led to these introductions, and that's the way it is. And it turned into a fascinating project.
One of the key facts of building up at this height on such a sensitive site, on the edge of a cliff, is that the building may not have HVAC, no heating whatsoever. So the building has to stabilize at a core temperature, and that means that you're never going to have any heating during the run of that build. Also, you're installing at times when not all of the final doors are in place and all of the closings. So we saw good sort of -10, -20 Celsius temperatures in the building during the install. During the design phase, we found ourselves looking at some of those exact things. Is the speaker really rated to -30? Who would have thought that was ever a thing? Turns out it is. But we had to look very carefully at that, and of course there's some things that just can't go down to those temperatures, especially things like projectors, which are generating heat of themselves, and condensation is a big issue that you have to take care of. So things like projectors had to go into custom designed housings, heated housings, and even the equipment racks in the rack room are actually enclosed in heating cabinets. So quite unlike the things that we face 99% of the time in trying to keep rack equipment cool in a small room, we were facing exactly the opposite challenge of heating it up to a minimum temperature.
Well, effectively, what we're selling is we don't sell equipment. That's a very important point for anybody who's embarking on a sales career with systems integration. I haven't sold equipment for years, and neither does Gavin. We don't go out there to sell equipment, we sell the experience, and we sell our experience in many respects. So the first conversations are all very much about what the client wants to do, what they want to try and achieve.
Audio is such a sensory part of an experience. And it has for many years, for various reasons, it's prone to becoming the poor cousin to brighter and higher resolution displays. And people forget, that audio often carries emotion where video doesn't, and for a tiny fraction of the price. So we certainly try to pay careful attention to that. Good audio, lots of channels. It's not necessarily that difficult to achieve. And it's something that deserves consideration.
I think if we look back at some of the projects we've been involved in, a very short interlude with one I was involved in at a war museum was extremely exciting. It was done many years ago, and it was put people in a locked room, effectively turn the lights down and just use audio. Very, very basic audio, spatial audio within a room. And it worked a treat. There were no visuals involved. It was one of the most exciting things I've ever done. And people came out and said, wow.